Welcome back to video 3 of the Great War. Today's video, we will talk about the leeches and the war, the way they began this entire story. And for the story to begin, we must take you to a fallen stronghold not far, far away. Right over here, beyond the castle walls, was the very first leech settlement that we would ever know, and that would start this great revelation. We fight because of this fight. This stronghold came out of nowhere. We destroyed this leech stronghold before they could attack us, playing our flag in the middle. This would become the story of Battle of the West. The Battle of the River, the Battle of the Blood River. We move back. You can see the end of the construction of the Red Road over here. This would be the first initial attack by the leeches in the year 2013. And for years after that, things would get way worse. The forces began attacking small villages and towns outside of the city walls. The horrors, the expeditions would go out to find these survivors, would scar them for life. But today, we show you this, because this is what's left. This is an enemy stronghold that we managed to catch. We lit it on fire so they could not come back. We blocked off all our entrances and began to move for a more peaceful world. But one day, things changed horrifically. There's a cemetery that lies over here that presents more than 36,000. We will take a moment of silence for these that have fallen. They died a valiant death. But this fight isn't over. As you see, we begin to rebuild outside the city walls. Hope is in our sights. The fight for freedom continues. At what cost? Is the question. In the last 22 years, we have lost 22 million in battles across this planet. In the last year and a half, we've lost over 22,000 to expeditions that were raided by enemy leeches. This war is none like ever before. But happens that last week, an expedition came back saying they had managed to find an enemy settlement. We're scheduled to make an attack on it in the following months. But we're not sure how that battle will go, if the future will be withstood. In today's story, I want to talk to you guys about the things these settlements, these leeches, do to their enemies, and the reality, and how they began. Enemy stronghold. and has been quiet for the last multiple weeks. We do not believe anything we see. This is how it all began. This is how it all began. Started back in the year of 1945, over almost 1,000 years ago. When 2 bombs were dropped in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. It is believed this brought the end of the World War II, an ancient history now. But it is said we do not understand what we have created. The radioactive material landed in a river and formed unbelievable amounts of creatures of unimaginable power. This was built here by them before they became evil. But things aren't always as I seem. These holes go down to the end of the world. There's no coming back once you fall down that hole. But these things did. They are believed to have come from the beginning of time itself. They have the power to manipulate time as we know it. But today, we know what started these things. Today, we know where it all began. This gives us the power to end it here, now, and forever will be. This will be the greatest loss of life this world will ever see. But we will come through victorious. Our scouts at our main base has noticed there's been trenches built here by enemy forces. They work at night, hiding during the day. They're nocturnal creatures. They are deadly creatures. We have built this immense amount of fire and lava ports and cobwebs as barbed wire. Their process has slowed, but we fear that we are running out of time. We fear that our end is closer than we would like to admit. In the 42 years since this war officially began, 72 million lives have been taken. Some ask, at what cost will this end? When will it end? But this story has only just begun. This is only the beginning. I am telling you this story, which means we survived. We were able to tell the tale. But we must ask ourselves, how much suffering did they go through to survive? A battle has already taken place in this round. 22 years ago to the day, a small leech force attacked an undefending ready unit for shadow forces. They were called Master Squad. The best of the best. It didn't work as a monument to memorialize them. For what they have given us, and the power and hope they have put in us. It was right here I'm standing, massive explosion, killing all but 3. Those last 3 stood their ground and they fought with valorancy. And they were able to tell the tale. We will never forget them. They fought off 2,200 of these leeches. They formed these stairs coming down. And they fucking pushed water along this field. And they pushed faster than these Shadow Master's forces could hold them off. An enemy position on the top of this hill, which has been wiped clean. Shot an RPG. There. Massive hole. We've been here for 42 years. Our city walls have seen more combat than any nation in any war, in any time, in any point of history has ever seen before. And I express to you in this story, these hundreds of videos that will come out after this, to remember that time is not always what it seems. That we must continue to fight no matter what we do in life. For this 36,000 buried here, they gave the ultimate sacrifice. Today is Memorial Day for this world. But the world is silent. Not a soul in sight. The story is frozen in time. But will you remember it? Is a question I need to ask you. Will you remember the fight to defend this place? Last year, a group of survivors built this obstacle course. They said it was from the old world. A world a long, long time ago. They said that these things called Marines used to use these. I don't know if that's true or not. What I do know is true is that's all history now. This world has been shaped by an evil that is never seen before. And at the beginning of the video we discussed that I would tell you guys about the history and what these things are. These things called leeches. These leeches were believed to be formed of those atomic bombs that were dropped over 1,000 years ago. And it wasn't until about 60 years, about 2013 almost, that they began their attacks on strongholds around the world. Britain, DC, Chicago, Detroit, London, Berlin. These leeches began their attacks on these strongholds, weakening the governments as they were standing. It was an apocalypse for many. After 2 years of the initial attacks, the world was crumbled down to nothing but small towns and villages around the world. These castle walls are the last that stands of the modern day world. They burned everything to the ground they seen. Even though they couldn't get near fire, they would burn everything to the ground. We would attempt to stop it, but it was too late. We couldn't stop them. They would explode villages, massacre the people in them, and go into holes in the water underground, and they would hide. In 2060, we attempted to force them out of their holes using TNT and lava buckets, dumping lava and TNT down in these holes and exploding them miles high. But it didn't work. We unleashed more and more and more, and the nest grew and grew and grew. The attacks now have become way more violent. These outposts, these watchtowers, they protect us. But for how long is the question, my good friend? How long? This land is covered by a lot of water. And eventually time will catch up to us. So I ask yous, what do we do? What do they do? Unfortunately, that is the time we have for today's episode of The Great War. Until next time, my friends, farewell. I thank yous for watching this. Please remember, this disclaimer goes to all those that have watched to this point. This is not a true story. This is 100% make-believe. Things will get aggressive. Things will be disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. If you enjoyed the video, I hope you guys leave a like and subscribe. And remember, nothing is as it seems.